Hi, this is Dave from webskis.com, and today we're going to talk about how to change bearings in your C2 or C3 front wheel. So, first thing we're going to do is you take all the hardware off the axle after you remove it from the ski. Again, you want to always work on the race of the bearing, never on the seal. Okay? What you want to do is go ahead and pull that axle straight out. Just slides right out of the wheel. So nice and easy. And then what you want to do is you want to find a couple tools in your garage that you might have lying around. What'll be handy here is a 15 mil socket wrench head, and then some kind of, this one is a 32 mil socket wrench head. This works really well. Basically, when we're working in the vise, you need something that you can put on one side of the wheel so that when you press the bearing out, it can fall out of the wheel. So these work really well, or you can go to the hardware store, pick up some PVC piping, anything that's the same diameter as the race of the bearing, and then something that's going to be larger than the size of the bearing for the other side of the wheel. Okay. So what we need to do here is we need to actually press out these bearings, pushing on one side, and it's going to force the other side out. There's a sleeve on the inside of bushing that kind of keeps these two bearings where they need to be in the wheel. So you're going to push against that bushing, it's going to push the other bearing out the other side. So what we do is go ahead and get our handy dandy vise, open it up nice and wide. Okay, so again, you're going to have one side pressed up here so that the bearing can move freely out of the wheel. You got your other side here. We're going to tighten that up a little bit. And again, you want to make sure that the diameter of this piece is sitting on the race of the bearing, not on the seal. This will crush the bearings if you're not careful, so really make sure you've got the right diameter set up. Once I have that in place, I can go ahead, crank down the vise, and it's going to push that bearing through. Then you can hear that the other side pop out. So you go ahead and release pressure. And pull that guy out. You can see that first bearing was pressed out. So now that we've pressed out one side, we're going to have to go ahead and press the bearing out the other side. So what you want to do is you want to have a couple different sockets in order to, basically you're going to have to press through the long side of the wheel to get the bearing to pop out. So what we do is we've got this 15 mil socket wrench head that's going to slide right through, and then we've just got another random tool in the shop that's going to fit. Just like that, we'll be able to press that bearing out. So open up that vise nice and wide. Alright, cranking, cranking, cranking. There we go. Press that other bearing out. Make sure everything doesn't fall out. So there's that second bearing. Alright, we've successfully pressed out the bearings in our C2, C3 front wheel. Alright, so let's go ahead. We're going to put those bearings back in again. Super simple. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, you want to seat that bearing in the wheel. We're going to use our vise to press it back in. Press it till it's flush. We go ahead and we put in our plastic bushing here. And grab our second bearing.
Is that striker? Striker. That's all. Yeah.
And we go ahead and we press that one in flush. And we're all set. Dave from webskis.com, and that's how to change your bearings in your C2, C3 front wheel.